Just a quick note, I'm going to be mispronouncing a lot of names in this thing, so don't get mad at me. Werner Herzog is one of the coolest filmmakers working today. And I know how dumb that sounds, like, hey teens, check out this cool Herzog dude. But I can't think of any really better way to say it. His career is legendary. He works with really interesting people. He picks really interesting projects that seem to be expressive of his own personal curiosity and passions and creativity rather than a desire for fame or money or topping himself. And he prolifically makes great films, sometimes 2 in a year. One of the 2 films that he screened at festivals this year is the really conceptually weird non-homage, non-remake, non-sequel to Abel Ferrara's 1992 film Bad Lieutenant, which is called Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans, and it stars Nicolas Cage. It's really great, and in celebration of its release this Friday, we're going to take a quick sprint through the Herzogian catalog. Herzog started making films in the late 60s in Germany and was seen as part of the German new wave of filmmaking and filmmakers, along with guys like Volker Schlöndorff, Wim Wenders, and Fassbinder. He made his first few films on a 35mm movie camera that he stole from the Munich Film School, and one of those was Even Dwarfs Started Small in 1970, about a crazy dwarf rebellion on an isolated island. And 20-30 years later, that film would go on to inspire people like Crispin Glover, Harmony Korine, and David Lynch. It's really crazy. It's awesome. In 1972, he'd take his stolen camera to Peru, along with crazy, legendary freak-out master actor Klaus Kinski, to make Aguirre, The Wrath of God. And it was the first of 5 films that the pair would make together. On the set of Aguirre, Kinski got kind of mad that some people were playing cards in a tent, so he shot a pistol into it 3 times and blew off the fingertip of an extra. And not one to back down, Herzog then later threatened to shoot Kinski to death and then kill himself should Kinski abandon the project. The volatility of that relationship would for a long time define Herzog and his career, utterly mad and completely brilliant. All of the pair's other films are magnificent. Nosferatu the Vampire and Wojciech in 1979, the incredible Fitzcarraldo in 1982, and finally Cobra Verde in 1987. In between his work with Kinski, he made 2 films with a really weird, one-time institutionalized son of a prostitute mother musician that he called Bruno S., The Enigma of Caspar Hauser, and Strozek. Bruno S. wasn't an actor to start with, and wasn't an actor after those 2 films either. Herzog's career is marked by these weird professional choices, this creative daring that more often than not just works, and it seems to come from the heart. He once told Errol Morris that if Errol Morris ever finished his first documentary, Gates of Heaven, he would eat his shoe, which he then did after cooking it for 5 hours in a California kitchen. And it was caught on tape and made into a film called Werner Herzog Eats His Shoe. And after his first successful feature film, he spent the winter walking from Munich to Paris in a bid to keep his mentor, Lotte Eisner, alive long enough for them to be reunited, which he did. In the 90s and 2000s, Herzog began to focus more on making documentaries. And in 1999, he made the really cool film about his relationship with Kinski called My Best Fiend. And that film would be worth watching even if it was just footage of Kinski freaking out on set about bad food in the jungle. In 2005, he made the very moving, very well-made film Grizzly Man about the death of Timothy Treadwell. And he followed that up in 2007 with a really cool documentary about Antarctica called Encounters at the End of the World. It's hard, really hard, to pick a bad film out of his catalog. They've all got something to offer. And that's true of his 2 latest films as well, including the one that's coming out on Friday, Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans, and My Son, What Have You Done?, which should be coming out sometime next year. If you haven't seen much of his work, or if you've only seen his recent documentaries, it's absolutely worth going back into his catalog to watch some of the stuff that he made with Kinski, or some of the stuff that he made with Bruno S., or the stuff that he made before that. You won't be disappointed. It's great.